Also, I've made it very clear that I think Solana is the best horse in the big run. We are living in a brand new digital economy. This is a developing market that is growing faster than any other market we have ever seen. Instead of 5x in Solana or 10x next year or whatever it does. Yes. Also, if you understand why the macro and the political cycle do the same thing, then it seems like rinse and repeat is the same idea unless something big happens. What could be that exciting event? What could happen that would be so big that it would break this cycle and cause a black swan depression or world meltdown? You can't since you're printing. That's why China attacks Taiwan. Perhaps hyperinflation, which happens when you print so much money, would be the answer. Fine, we'll be okay as long as we have the right things. There is actually one more risk. That's the opposite of this. Let's say rates start to rise in 2026 and the Fed says, you know what? We're not going to do this again. We didn't need to do it last time, we messed up, or something like that. It doesn't matter what the number is, we'll just lock in returns at 3%. In order to stop inflation, they just print more money. Is there another part of the math I can't figure out? Are we going to go through another full rate cycle after they're done? How this one ends will matter. But that's not the only kind of spread that people don't think about. They might also decide not to raise rates. This is something the Bank of England has done since the 1600s. At that time, I think it was the Bank of Holland or the Bank of Amsterdam. They've been doing it even longer. I believe it is the oldest national bank in the world. It's never been possible to get rid of the business cycle. And most people think the Fed can't. We can't. We can't. We can't. It's very hard to say if our money system causes it or if it was our farming cycles or weather cycles before. I've been talking about this for a long time. Listen, you have been given one gift, you can buy a fractionalized asset that will make you a billionaire or $100 billion. That Bitcoin Life Raft movie was all about that. For $200 a week, you can put 10% of your money in it because it's split up into bits. And it is the first product that is truly global. It works the same for someone in Brazil, India, or Philadelphia. It is a treasure. People feel really strong after hearing that. That means there's a chance. I've also talked a lot about how this is the first time the little guy gets to run the organization. However, if they could only hold dollar cost average might work. You shouldn't use pressure and put it on your ledger. The chances of you succeeding are very good. After that, you get to front run. The banks are the dumb money right now. To find out where things stand, you should compare them to Bitcoin. Now, I've always found ETH very interesting because it didn't drop as much as Bitcoin did during the whole bear market. There are a lot of alts that do this, since we know it's a very big environment. Also with ETH, everything changed for me when it went down in value during high activity. Because in reality, a bull market is when there is the most action. In a strong market, it's hard to find. Okay, that one wasn't really thought through. Besides that, it now has a yield. Also, institutions like things that give them a return. They don't like gold because it doesn't give them a return, but ETH does. In fact, ETH has been my bigger bet. I've recently switched my bet to Solana though. That can't be bad. Not sure when you started, but I started buying Solana in June of last year and did so every month until December. And it made me feel bad. And I looked at the map and saw the Solana ecosystem. You tell everyone the worst news possible, and it's the worst Sam coin. I was about to say that the best reason for Solana is that it's not edge. That's right. Then I saw people like Toli, whose name is Anatoly. He's very classy. He's really great. I thought, wow, that's really interesting. I've met him before and seen the kinds of people he hung out with. Like they were the heads of all these great companies. I feel like I shouldn't talk about it in public, but this is really cool. Then I learned about fire dancers. I don't know if you've gone down this fire dancer rabbit hole yet. It's not like I've only been on the surface. I haven't told many people about it. Yeah, but I'll write something about it because I've been writing about it for Real Vision, Pro Macro People, and Global Macro Investor. I hadn't even heard of it, but when I went to mainnet, there was Colleen from Brave and Howard, who is a good friend and a great person. She was on stage and she said that fire dancer is obviously a big bet that we have that we think is really important, dear Colleen. I have no idea what you're talking about. She seems to know a lot more than I do. I'm like, okay, fine. And then Anatoly speaks up. He talks about Fire Dancer and says, oh, yeah, we think it can do 600,000 to 1.2 million TPS. And I'm like, what? At the time, I thought maybe it's some kind of layer 2. I went home and looked at the numbers of Solana BS, ETH and Solana BS, Bitcoin, which I have been doing for a long time. This really does look like a rocket ship to me. What's going on here? So I started to look into it and watch interviews with the jump trading team that built Firedance. That's when I realized it was a different validator for Solana that makes the whole chain safer. And yes, these speeds were right, being built by people who wanted to make trades happen at very high speeds very quickly. Tolly says, yeah, this is the real deal, we should have done this from the start. I thought, wow, this is big, that is all there is to the trilemma. We've never heard of a coin that is both faster and safer, right? Not at all. And this speed, I mean, just think about how quantum this is. It said that Solana is worth 65,000 TPS. We have a layer 2 that is like Polygon or the same name, but it's not as safe as a layer 1. Okay, fine. This is the first layer of Solana and it does 20x. That's why they say it's fast enough to run the whole stock market. Twitter is only able to handle 24,000 TPS. You can do anything like post on all social networks and trade stocks very quickly. That's all I can think of is use cases. It gets very interesting when use cases grow very quickly. That's why I'm very optimistic about all of that. Yes, it's a very big deal in my opinion. As Chris Burniski put it, the guys at Placeholder VC said, if you think of ETH as the Android economy, then Solana is more like Apple. Ether is like an open source network that you can use for many things. It's like having one great running system and those, your Apple phone can talk to your Android phone. In the end, everything works out. Yes. Also, I might be wrong. It might not be the best idea. It's possible that I'm a total idiot, and you know what? I'm fine with that. Looking at the risk reward picture, I can't help but wonder if this is the beginning of the end of this cycle. That doesn't take away from ETH. It doesn't hurt Bitcoin. We're trying to make as many chips as we can because the economy is bad right now. That's the game. If you believe in Bitcoin, you might say, I don't want to keep all the chips. I only need the chips I need. That's also fine. There's nothing wrong with those different worlds. Thanks for coming along with us on this interesting trip into the worlds of crypto and trading. If you liked what we talked about today and want to know about future, please click the bell below to subscribe. And don't forget to do so. If you subscribe, you'll become a part of our growing group and be the only one who can see our latest analysis and strategies. I can't wait for the next video with you.